How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the Kansas City Chiefs co-beat writer for On SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for stopping in today. Today, we're going to be diving into a topic that we have yet to really dive into somewhat a little bit in the past, but not dedicated its full podcast to. And we are going to break down the state of the AFC West division for the 2025 campaign. Now, you might be looking at the layout of the National Football League for the 2025 campaign and thinking that there are some prime examples or contenders rather for the Super Bowl or the playoffs. And let me tell you, in my opinion, folks, I think that the Kansas City Chiefs have their work cut out for them going into this season if they want to make their way back into the playoffs, especially competing with two other teams that have made the playoffs last season in the Los Angeles Chargers and the Denver Broncos, while also keeping in mind that the Las Vegas Raiders are not a team to just kind of shy away from. They are also very improved. All in all, when you look at the AFC West competitiveness, I think that it is among, if not the top, most competitive division in the National Football League for the upcoming season. But just because it's competitive doesn't mean that the Kansas City Chiefs should be shaken in their boots. This is a division that they have won several times, 9 years straight consecutive. Going into this season, they're looking to claim their 10th. And while some people are kind of looking at the division as theirs to lose, it's also theirs to win. Now, I know that kind of has a counterintuitiveness to it, but it being that the Kansas City Chiefs have been doubted since their embarrassing loss to the Philadelphia Eagles last year in the Super Bowl, a lot of people are expecting both the Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Chargers to take a step forward and give the Chiefs a run for their money for the AFC West division title. Going into the season, that is going to be a topic of discussion and throughout. You got to remember the Chiefs and the Chargers, they go off against each other in week 1, Sao Paulo, Brazil, on Friday, the 5th of September, for their opening of the regular season. You've got to keep a close eye on that game, especially if the Chiefs are looking to get themselves back into the playoffs. But without further ado, let's look at how the AFC West division is looking for the Chiefs' opponents. Now, let's start with the Chargers. Chargers, they have an offense that is in a whole franchise that's led by Jim Harbaugh, going into his second year as head coach. He looks to be a head coach that is going to make an immediate impact. We saw it last season in the Chargers making their way into the playoffs. A stacked offense that consists of Justin Herbert at quarterback. They just drafted Omarion Hampton. You also have Najee Harris, Ladd McConkey. There's a lot of players on the roster offensively that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to have to kind of study a whole lot this season. And in preparation, they're going to face a lot this season, twice, which there's going to be a lot of competition, so to say. I know that that's like a redundant thing to say. There's going to be competition in any game that they play, but division matchups can either make or break some seasons. And I think that how close the AFC West is, it is crucial to get as many division wins as you can, but they're going to have their work cut out for them. Luckily, they do have Christian Fulton, who was on the Chargers last season. He could definitely be a player on the defensive side of the ball that could give them a little bit of intel on how things are shaped over in Los Angeles. But if you're a Chiefs fan, I don't think that you should worry too much. Depending and looking at their recent track record against the Chargers, they have fared very well, and Patrick Mahomes has done very well in week 1 matchups as well. let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders, a team that could definitely be giving many teams a run for their money. I've seen a lot of predictions elsewhere this offseason saying that the Raiders could sneakily be a team to get into the playoffs. I say I got to see it before I believe it. They do have a revamped quarterback room with veteran Geno Smith. They also have a new head coach in Pete Carroll. Ashton Jeanty as a running back, Jacoby Myers, Amari Cooper, Trey Tucker, Brock Bowers is arguably one of the best tight ends in the National Football League. But other than that, when you look at the defensive side of their ball, there could be a lot of questions other than Max Crosby. Represent Eastern Michigan. I do love Max Crosby. I am an Eastern Michigan grad myself. But from a defensive standpoint, and the way that how stacked the AFC West is with the remainder of the franchises, other than the Raiders, I do think that the Raiders will come in fourth place, but they will be more competitive. It's not to be a case where the Chiefs, when they do face them twice this season, can take them lightly, but it will give the Chiefs a huge step forward in their first matchup come week 7, as Rashee Rice will be returning from the injured list that time. I know that's something that the Chiefs Kingdom and the Chiefs organization is going to be looking forward to. While the Chargers are kind of scot-free without Rashee Rice, they have several offensive players, the Chiefs do, in the wide receiving room that can still hurt you. Xavier Worthy, Tyquan Thornton, Travis Kelce, just to name a few, Hollywood Brown as well. I do think that the wide receiving game in Kansas City is going to be able to hold their own while they are awaiting the return of Rashee Rice. But Denver Broncos, there's been a lot of hype surrounding the Denver Broncos this season. A lot of people have them and the Chiefs battling it out for the remainder of the season. From week 1 to week 18, it could come down to the wire. I do think that the Denver Broncos have a legitimate chance of making their way into the playoffs. I don't know how the AFC West is going to kind of fall out, but I do see the Broncos and the Chargers. I do see a world where we are living in that it will be a head-to-head race. I've touched on this in an article I've written several months ago when the schedule came out for the first time, that the Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos are going to be in that race, and they're going to be looking at each other when they're not even as opponents. Got a quarterback in Bo Nix, who is going to be looking to be another great quarterback in the making as well. Cortland Sutton, another guy. They also brought in Evan Ingram from the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's still a reliable tight end that I do think is going to be able to be a factor for them this season. And it's going to be something that the Chiefs need to get figured out in their situation, because they face the Broncos a lot on the latter half of the campaign, which could be the make or break situation for them. Whether that be any guy on the defensive side, whether that be Zach Allen, John Franklin Myers, Alex Singleton. There are a lot of guys, Brandon Jones as well, a lot of guys that can hurt you on the Denver squad. When you are looking at the Kansas City Chiefs, though, it's difficult to count them out going into this season, seeing how well they performed last year. At the end of the day, guys, it is a 15-2 team that the Chiefs were last season that had a bad day when it came to the Super Bowl. That does not mean that there are going to be that team when they take the field come week 1 and throughout the remainder of the regular season. But the AFC West could definitely be flipped on its head this season should the Chiefs take any of their competition lightly, and I can assure you that they will not do that. That being said, though, ladies and gentlemen, be sure you follow me over on X at Dom Minchella. I post and repost every single day. You're not going to want to miss any coverage of the Kansas City Chiefs as we get closer to the regular season. You can also follow us over at KC Chiefs on SI, where every single story is posted exclusively free to you, the viewer. Kansas City Chiefs on SI is the place to get your podcasts.